Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another Walking Dead review, this time doing our review of the Season 6 finale of The Walking Dead, titled Last Day on Earth. If you haven't seen it yet, and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. That's some bullshit!
Yeah.
There's no way that they're going to keep this information, this spoiler, under wraps before the Season 7 premiere.
Yeah.
Everything leaked so far this season. The Glenn scene, the entire audio of this, the final scene in this episode, there's no way they keep that death under wraps. It was a giant mistake to leave off at that cliffhanger.
Yeah, I definitely 100% concur. This is going to get leaked, and then everybody's going to be pissed because it was leaked.
Yeah. So, way to go, guys. Pardon the language, royal fuck up here in this episode.
Yeah, that was terrible call.
Yeah.
I don't mind a cliffhanger. I don't mind a little bit of a cliffhanger, but not something like that. Something that's going to make us mad if we get spoiled.
Yeah, and we're going to get spoiled.
Yeah.
Because
like,
AMC cannot keep anything secret, it seems.
No, yeah.
That said, it was an amazing scene. It was such a great scene. Jeffrey Dean Morgan killed that scene as Negan.
Yes, Negan was perfect.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good. He was terrifying and jovial and just everything he is from the comics. It was fantastic.
If I was going to make one complaint about Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, is I think he needed to bulk up a little bit, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he looked a little slender to me.
Yeah, and Negan's really big.
Yeah, Negan's thick. He's built like a barrel, like a tall barrel.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan looks pretty lean.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, the mannerism, the look, besides not being bulky enough, was spot on. Like, he's Negan, straight from the comics.
Absolutely. Nailed the scene, nailed that entire monologue.
Oh, God, yeah.
It was beautifully done. Great job, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Just the cliffhanger, oh my God.
Yes,
Alright, and in a big surprise, we actually saw Carol in this episode, which I didn't think we would. I didn't think we would get her until next season.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was really, really pleasantly surprised that we got some Carol in this episode, and my heart was like this the whole time. I was like, no, don't die!
Our prediction was half right, though.
Yes.
Her and Morgan are definitely on their way to the kingdom.
Yes, definitely.
And, Carol's in bad shape. She's been shot and stabbed.
Shot twice and stabbed once.
So she's in bad shape.
Yeah.
I do think she's probably going to pull through. I don't know if... We'll do a predictions video for Season 7 tomorrow, but just immediate reaction from the episode. Who do you think got the bat?
Well, see, they did this first-person perspective, and it only applied when the four...
who were captured.
Yeah, 4 who were captured were in the van. So it's got to be one of those 4 because it was a first-person perspective, and that's the only group that had that. My bet is on Glenn.
My bet is still on Glenn.
Yeah, since it's out of those 4, I'm gonna say it's Glenn.
I gotta say Glenn, and I hate to say it, Daryl. It's one or the other. I gotta say, 75% chance it's Glenn, 25% chance it's Daryl.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a guy, just because every once in a while you would hear something like breathing and it, like, I don't know, like grunting almost. You would hear that, and I got the impression that it was the first person perspective. It was that person making those noises, and it sounded male.
Yeah. I'm going to rewatch that scene probably 100 times and really, Zapruder film it, just like we did the Glenn death scene, going, he scoots, look, you can see a scooch, he's scooching under the dumpster. I'm going to be listening to that audio, and look for any kind of clue that we can get as to who that might be. As of right now, it is 10:40. The show has been over for 10 minutes. We have not had a chance to rewatch anything.
No.
So, immediate reaction, I think 75% chance is Glenn, 25% chance is Daryl.
Yeah, I definitely think it's Glenn. I don't think that anybody who is injured got the bat. I technically, I guess, they could have, but I don't think so. Especially, like, when he hit and the person didn't go down, he stayed up, or she stayed up. That just, to me, if you're already injured, if that had been Maggie or Daryl, that first hit might have knocked them out.
Yeah. Yeah, so somebody who's already hurt.
Yeah, and
Probably
Daryl
doesn't-
wasn't looking good. He was very pale. He was almost as pale as Maggie was.
And Negan says, oh, it took the first one like a champ. So it's someone who's relatively physically fresh.
Yeah, so
which
that
Daryl
to me,
is
yeah,
not.
that rules out Daryl to me.
So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's Glenn. It could be Rosita or Michonne, but I think it's Glenn.
I don't think it's Rosita, just because I don't think Rosita would take the first one like a champ. She's just her stature. She's not a very big person.
Yeah.
So
well, neither's Michonne, but I could totally see Michonne taking it like a champ,
Yeah.
like just being stoic about it.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I
my
still say
gosh.
Glenn.
I still
for
say
some
Glenn.
reason, the first person perspective felt male. It felt masculine to me. Like with the noises in the background, it felt like a guy.
So, if it's not Maggie, and we are basically certain that it's
Yeah,
not,
no.
she's still miscarrying. So, what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't look good either. All the color has gone out of her.
Yeah, she is definitely not doing good. She's miscarrying, but we haven't seen any blood or anything, which is a really, really dangerous medical condition called retained products of conception, which means everything's basically dead and it's miscarried, but it's not coming out, so it's getting infected. And so she's going to be facing infection and sepsis and all this
And they
stuff.
did say she's running a fever.
Yes,
so
yeah.
that is
So
a sign of infection.
she's lost the pregnancy, but it hasn't passed. So it is like basically dying inside of her and causing mass infection. So she needs to get to Hilltop like now.
I really love the overall setup of this episode, how the Saviors were herding our survivors toward Negan. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, like basically 90% of the episode was build up to that Negan scene with just a little bit of Carol and Morgan's side story. And that could be really boring and stale fast, especially in a 90-minute episode. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was high tension. It was creepy. It was just edge of your seat tension through the whole build up to the Negan scene.
Like, the first time they encountered the Saviors, they probably could have taken that group out and then been smooth sailing the rest away.
Yeah,
it might
that
have been
was a mistake.
a little touch and go, but the fact that they backed off the first time they encountered the Saviors in this episode,
That screwed them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If I think they probably could have fought their way through.
Had Carl not been in the RV, they might have fought their way through that first time.
I think maybe Rick was holding back
I
a
think
little
maybe
bit.
Rick held off because he didn't want Carl to maybe accidentally be shot in the crossfire, and so that's why they didn't attack.
And speaking of Carl being there and Rick, this is the most frightened we have ever seen Rick in this episode. He looked terrified.
Andrew Lincoln nailed this
Yes.
scene. He looked like he was pissing his pants
Yeah.
the whole time. He was terrified, and it worked because like Negan picked it out right away. He's like, this is the leader of the group, the one who led the slaughter on his people, is shaking in his boots, and he sees a kid, and he's like, that's your child.
Yeah.
That's your son. Like
He
he
put
was
it
able,
together.
he put it together, and it was just it was beautiful.
And that's another thing that Jeffrey Dean Morgan did really, really well, is Negan is incredibly smart, and that came through.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah.
the dialogue, it was great writing. It was taken very much from the comic. The monologue was pretty
yeah.
darn close. And the delivery, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's delivery,
It was as close as they could make it because Negan likes the F word a
yeah,
lot.
which apparently we're going to get in the Blu-ray release. They're going to have a very profane version of the monologue, which I'm
I
excited
can't wait.
for. I will buy that just to hear the monologue.
Yeah, me too.
In Negan's true voice.
Yeah, and Jeffrey D. Morgan did a great job of delivering the monologue without the F-bomb and
Yeah.
still making it sound straight out of the comics because
Yeah.
it was just as good as when you were reading it.
Okay, I think that's pretty much everything for this review. If we missed something, if there was something from the scene that you caught that we didn't, let us know down in the comments. We would love to discuss this. Let us know your theories. Who do you think got the bat? If you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, tell us by clicking that like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, our good friend Joe Martin designed these shirts, and you can purchase them on his TeePublic site, which we will link down in the
Down below.
description.